What's up guys, welcome back to another video, again another project, but this time it's a small one. I want to get this pocket bike running because it doesn't work, and the reason that it doesn't work because it's made in China. I'm not saying that everything that comes from China is bad, but in this case it is bad. The issue is with the carburetor. The carburetor doesn't stop giving fuel. How does that work? Well, if you ever open the carburetor, you will know that there is a float right in here. So your gasoline comes to your carburetor, it fills up with fuel, and the float prevents it from gaining more fuel. Now this carburetor doesn't do that because the design of this carburetor is very bad. So what happens? The fuel runs out and it runs all over the bike and on the floor and all that. Technically I need a new carburetor, but these are the kind of bikes you get at the carnival. You put in the money machines to get your points and you can get this bike. But I bought this bike, but it's the same deal. Now there's no name, no brand, no nothing. You have no idea how to get parts for it. So that's why I bought the TIG welder. We're gonna make our own collector from the carb to the engine, this piece between here. Now I need a carb and I got this. This is an old motor and the carb should work on that. It's a small engine, this is a small engine, so it should work. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna first of all try this. If this still works, then we're good, because this hasn't run in like 11 years. So let's just clear the table, get this bike out of here for the moment. So get some fresh fuel in here. Is there still? No, there's none in here. Let's prime it. Plastic is so old that the primer is so slow. And let's try it. It's not running. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna clean out the carb and try again. It's been a long time. I have to pull off the carburetor many times. Of course, I cannot really clean it because I don't have the right gaskets or like the rubber pieces inside of there. But I got it working, hopefully. Yay! It runs! The project can continue. Let me sit down for this one. The project cannot continue. This engine or this carburetor is too old. Every single rubber piece is broken down, cracked, stiff as a brick. I should have tested the engine a long time ago, but this will never work. I can put the carburetor on the pocket bike, but it will never run good. The engine runs, but it takes fuel from the wrong inlet. With these engines, you have a fuel line and you have a prime line. Prime line is when you prime the carburetor, it will pump in fuel into the carburetor. When it's primed, it will take fuel out of the fuel line. That's why you can rotate the machine every single way. And it works because the engine is so old and the carburetor is so old. The float mechanism into the carburetor is stiff. So it doesn't shut off, shut out, whatever. And it takes fuel from the prime line. So what I'm gonna have to do if I want to continue this project is I'm gonna have to buy a new carburetor. Now this means that I cannot finish this project. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make the connection piece for the pocket bike and leave the tube as long as I can have it. So then when the new carburetor arrived, I can pull off the manifold, make the plate that connects the new carburetor with the next connection, and then I can weld it up and then it will go. But I have to go on Amazon, get a new carburetor or some kind of carburetor that can work with a small engine, and I don't have time for it right now. I don't have time to order that, get it and make the video. I have to make the video today. So that is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna clear the table and I'm gonna start on the manifold. So this is what I have to work with. This is my old carburetor from the pocket bike. So I have to make a plate that looks like this. The material that I'm gonna use is this small piece of metal and this old rusty tube. Now why am I using a rusty tube? I have no other metals, so I have to make it out of this. So this gonna connect to this, and then it will fit on the pocket bike. But first I'm gonna have to make this shape. Now it's a little bit tricky because I cannot really put it on there and draw over it. So what I'm gonna try to remove the gasket as clean as possible. Hopefully it doesn't break. Came out pretty clean. So now let's take our metal. Okay, we got it somewhat traced. Looks pretty good. So our little connection piece is made. It's not the prettiest, but it will work. Now before I weld the tube on, I want to test it out. So what I'm first going to do, I'm going to pull off the covers of the bike so I have better access. I can film it much more better. And I'm going to try if the connection piece even fits on it properly. Because it's not worth it if you do all the work and it doesn't fit. So this is where it needs to go. Let's see. Good clearance on everything. Nice and perfect. I'm gonna try my bolts. And they are a little bit too long. It's still wobbling, so we need to shorten them, but maybe with the gasket in there, it will come out nice. So we know our connection piece fits. Now I'm gonna cut a gasket. I got some gasket material and this is 0.5 gasket paper. I'm gonna cut off a small piece. No need to take a big piece, and the rest can go away until we do another project like this. Now I'm gonna trace over the whole part. And now let's cut it out. And there is our homemade gasket. So that is one of the biggest pieces, or the hardest pieces to make. Now I'm gonna clean up this tube and make it ready for welding. So here it is, the final two pieces that need to be joined together. Hopefully everything goes well. The last process, I'm not a good welder, so this is gonna be crappy, but I'm gonna try. Make it the best welding job I ever did. So let's fire up the TIG welder and give it a try. So I got the piece all welded. Not my prettiest job, but it was my second time welding something, or TIG welding, and doing something round and with such tight radius was a little bit hard, but it's on there, it is sealed. It's perfect for what we want to do. So yeah. Okay, slight change of plans. You know, when something happens and for some odd reason everything comes together, well, it happened today. This piece that I made fits perfectly. Everything is nice, square, everything is good. So I fitted it on the bike and I saw that the intake was a little bit to the right. No big problem with the small carburetor that I wanted to use. no biggie. I was thinking, hey, I have to buy another carburetor, that's cost money. Wait a second, I have carburetors from my ciao. And I was thinking, well, the original, the first one, is very small. It's like a 7. And I'm like, yeah, that could work. We can make the bike run stationary, not give it gas or whatever, because that carb would be too big. But we could make it run. Problem is that carburetor is back home. And it's like a 30-minute drive, so an hour to get the carb and come back here. So I was gonna end the video with just this, and that was it. And I was thinking, well, I'm gonna need some metal to make that carburetor fit on this. Now, before I wanted to film the rest of the video, I wanted to clean a little bit up. So I start cleaning up, taking the old engine that I was planning on using upstairs. And as I was walking upstairs, I saw a bucket full of motorcycle parts. And I found this. This is a old silencer from the RCX. And I was like, could this fit? Yeah, this could fit. So I got the metal that I want to use to make the ciao carburetor fit on this. Now I don't have a carb, so I cannot cut it, I cannot weld it. It's gotta be for another day. So I'm walking around with the engine, put it on the table, and lo and behold, what's there smiling at me? My 13mm carburetor. Now this carburetor is way too big for this engine, but the original carburetor is the exact same size of this one. You cannot see the difference between carburetors without looking inside or looking at the numbers. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna combine all these parts, I'm gonna weld them up, and I'm gonna put it on the bike. And the bike should run stationary. So this part came popping up, a miracle. The carburetor was here, also a miracle. So I start fitting everything. Lo and behold, the fuel line fits on the carburetor. So everything can work. We don't need to buy additional parts. We don't need to wait. It's a little bit late right now, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put this carb on this engine. Now, because this is a whole process and you've seen it all before, me cutting, welding, fitting and whatever, I'm not gonna film it. I'm just gonna go ham, knock it out of the park, and I will see you when the carb is on there, because surely I'm gonna face some problems. So I'm gonna start cutting, welding and fitting to make this bike run stationary. So when the next clip comes around, we are ready to start. So this is the final product. Not my best work, but if you've seen what this is made of, it looks pretty fine. So it's time for the final assembly, and hopefully, I don't know, there still could be some problems, a stationary start. Now I don't know if I can take the carb on and off with this piece still attached to the engine, but we're gonna find out, because mounting this with the carb in place would be even harder. I haven't test fitted anything, so stuff can still go wrong. Now let's see if the carb still slips on. Oh man, it fits like a glove. Now let's see if we can tighten it. That's gonna be a little bit tricky. And that is on there. Nice. Now let's see if we can connect the fuel line. And that is on there. Now let's tighten up this. Okay. Now let's get some fuel and see if we have leaks anywhere. Hopefully not. That should be good enough. Big moment. Will it start? I'm gonna put in some starter fluid and see if she goes. Didn't thought this was gonna happen. The bike is running again. The carb is too big, it's a 13mm. We need a smaller one. The small one is back at home. In another video we're gonna put on the smaller carb, connect the throttle cable, and maybe we can go for a ride if these tires are not worn yet. I didn't think this was gonna happen today. I was a little bit bummed when the carburetor of the old engine didn't work. Coming up with this idea, having a welder, yeah. Amazing. If you want the carb or the air filter, the link is gonna be in the description down below. It's all from jmpbparts.com. And that is gonna be it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like and a comment down below. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. And if you are not already subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one.